Start and see what we're all about here. Okay, so what I've done here is I've decided that Caesar 3 is just not difficult enough. We're getting the custom maps in. They're fantastic. I love them. Keep them coming. But that last one in Massilia was just so abusively hard that it reminded me how easy the campaign itself is unless you're giving yourself some really horrific house rules. So that's exactly what we're going to do. What we're going to do is start up a new career. We are, of course, Governor Marvin.
Let your governorial training begin.
Now, we know how all this starts. You start out in this unnamed area, and what you have to do is, well, it's super basic. Just build some houses, people will arrive, bish bash bosh. Wells, do we even need wells? I don't know, let's slap them down anyway. And then before you know it, everything's going to burst into flames and come crumbling down. It's just meant to teach you how this whole thing is meant to start. But we've seen it all a million times before, so I'm just going to skip right past it. And go here, to Brundisium.
Housing, food, and water in that order.
Not necessarily sure I agree with that, but sure. This is Brundisium. It's a super easy map. It's tutorial map too. It gives you quite a bit of freedom-ish, but mostly it just guides you through the motions of what you have to do. You have a generous amount of money to start with, da-da-da-da-da. And as you were saying, all we have to do is get 650 people. Well, that's all well and nice, except what I have done is I have grabbed these maps that you get in your campaign and gone through some hex editing to make them a bit more interesting. So this is the edited Brundisium map that I've got. Notice that we're starting with less money because we're actually playing on, wait, what? Hard mode? Very hard mode. And
your priorities should
we
be
have
security,
quite a few
housing,
more people
food, and water in
that we have to house here. So I'm gonna run this through to see that it actually works. I haven't actually tried, so we're experimenting live here today. It's still just a tutorial map. No matter what I do, I don't think I could ever actually make Brundisium challenging. It has plenty of food, plenty of open space, and plenty of people to trade with, but I'm just wanting to blitz right through it, even though our target is considerably larger than it is in the normal way of playing, and that lack of background music really makes me nervous. Ah, that's better. Okay, so a 1, a 2, a 3. We're gonna need more wheat farms than I normally do for a Brundisium, actually, given the way this is going to roll out. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe 5. Nah, we'll see what we can do with a space of 4 here. Shove down a bunch of housing, quite a big bunch of housing, maybe even a few people living here and here. Yeah, why not? Always have to honor the gods. You don't get access to marble here, so you're stuck to small temples. That is something that I'm able to edit. So what am I able to edit in these games? I can change what materials are available to you, what buildings are available to you, the ratings that you have to get, how much you can trade with everyone around you, and probably some other stuff that I haven't figured out yet. Still in my infancy when it comes to my editing skills at this. Could you say out loud what the new goals are? It's pretty much impossible to read on the stream. 2,500 population is what we have to get here. So people start coming in immediately. We have everything set up that they could conceivably need early on. Maybe get some more houses, because unlike normal play, I'm limited in... well, no, I'm not limited in a tiny amount of people that I need to get in here. Okay, the game has congratulated me on my patrician abilities here, so it said, hey, you can build reservoirs now. There we go. Now what's it complaining about? Oh yeah, the people are unhappy. So here's a bug on very hard mode. It sets the mood to unhappy between 200 and 300 people, so I'm just going to set it to hard mode. Otherwise you get this. It is a bug, and there are ways around it. I don't particularly care. I'm just going to set it to regular hard mode, which has a bunch of effects until we exceed 300, and then I'm going to pop it back up to very hard mode. There are some cheesy ways you can get around it with aqueduct mazes and what else? Ah, there are ways around it, but like I said, don't particularly care myself here. Are you guys gonna merge? It'd be super nice if you did. Yes, you do. Excellent. Not a lot of concerns on this map, so we're just gonna blitz through everything. It wanted me to do some stuff, but I didn't really pay attention. What do I need to build now? Baths. Gardens. I mean, I can do both of those things, but I'd rather have lots of food. Oh, you're gonna hate living next to these farms, but that's your problem, not mine. Oh yeah, I think what you have to do is ultimately feed your people, but I can do that. And the gods are even loving me for what I do. Damn, I'm good at what I do. Of course, these people are very not happy living where they are, so I'll just give them loads of gardens, because we can kind of afford it right now. I can't... Oh, people are emigrating. They don't like where they live at all. Oh, because population's back down below. Okay. Such is what happens when you use the very hard mode. So what I'll do is I'll not tax my people, and I'll pay them above Rome. Now get in here, you buggers. And the game is reminding me, of course, you should tax your people, and I fully agree. So get on in there. 8% will do fine, because unemployment is through the roof. Could honestly do more. And now I'm able to actually do my exports. And normally it would be game, set, and match here, because hey, I have everything I need to progress. But now I actually need to build up 2,500 people here. That's quite a lot of people for Brundisium. It's not a large map. So we will do what we gotta do, and part of that, I suppose, is building up industry. And actually considering industry for a change. Really not something you'd normally consider whatsoever here. That might be a bit big, but that'll be okay. So we'll get a raw materials clay pit, a 1, a 2, yeah, why not, 3 of them. Workshops for them, pottery, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And oh my goodness gracious, what did I just click on? I don't even want to think about it. Let's get that game back. We good? We good? Excellent. Well, that's the first time that's happened. I think. Alright, let's get that warehouse going. It obviously needs to accept just pottery, and we're going to open our broken map here to open trade with our friends in Capua, even though Capua has not been established yet. So you need to accept pottery, and we're going to sell almost all of that pottery. We're going to keep 8 units for ourselves, and we're also going to sell weapons. Keep 4 for ourselves just because it looks nice. And now let's get moving, even though these guys don't like where they live, which is a crying shame for them. I don't really have many nice things to build here. I could give them more temples. In fact, all things considered, that seems like the better idea here, because this area is going to suck to live next to. 1, 2, 3. Four, 5. There's a pretty good range on the effectiveness of those guys. These guys are pretty unhappy though, they got no water. That can be sorted. Many things can be sorted. Although they still don't like where they live. It's probably because we've got these 2 prefectures right here, which just isn't really great for them, but I can do this. But there are the tents as well that people aren't super happy on, but there we go. So now the game is complimenting me on my successes, and it's telling me to trade more. which I do really need to do. So if you could please hurry up and get that pottery going, or else I'm going to be begging to Caesar for more money. What I can also do is set up a warehouse that takes that excess wheat. I don't really want to do it there, because that's good land for people to live, but I could certainly do it here. And then I tell you, yes, take the wheat. And then I sell the wheat. Wheat does not sell for a lot of money, but it's better than a poke in the eye, as they say. And there we go, 1,000 people in Brundisium is not normally something that's even possible, but we got it anyway. So in comes the wheat. Oh, that does not sound good. I thought these guys would be seen to by the engineer and of course the prefecture, but I obviously thought wrong because it's all falling apart now. It's kind of funny in a way. In another more accurate way, it was a bit painful on my dosh. A lot of clay just went kablooey there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's more to it than that then. A couple of these guys are just about to blow themselves. It's a mistake I don't often make, but you gotta roll with the punches here. I think we'll relocate you a bit. There we go, that should mostly sort out my problems. The other thing that I want to do is get some iron in and start exporting those weapons. So I will actually have you accept iron and weapons. And although I'm a bit tight for cash right now, I will say please import that iron. And we'll get those weapon workshops going. Shouldn't need a lot of them. 3 should suffice. 3 is probably more than necessary. Also, I'm probably about to go into debt here. Hello, Caesar. Goodbye, Caesar. Don't worry. I'm setting up exactly what you're asking for. I'll also set up a wee theatre. I don't need an acting colony, so I don't see the reason to build one except for the fact it'll eat up unemployment, which is kind of a decent reason. There we go, loads of people coming in. We're now twice the number that you'd normally see in a Brundisium. But now, a bit of a question. How do I get more people here? How indeed? Is it really worth building that fountain there? Maybe. But also maybe not. These guys don't like where they live. It's hard to get the desirability here without spamming more statues. But spamming statues is kind of nice. So I'm going to stick you there. Remove you as well, and hope that it doesn't negatively impact things too hard. I mean, that guy doesn't even like where he lives. He's next to a bunch of temples. How can he not like it? The world's full of these kinds of mysteries. We'll even give people some education. There we go. And we're just drowning in people right now, not to mention drowning in those profits. It's pretty excellent. Now, I can't get people above large casa because I have no access to a second type of entertainment. So there's not really much point in pushing that boat out much further. I will, however, have to try and get a lot of people living here. I really like developing Brundisium because it's such a small map. The problem is I've never really been able to do much with it before. Because you run out of space so quickly that there's really not much left to do. But now we have it somewhat solved. I'm going to get rid of these prefectures there because people don't like living next to them, and instead set up a couple here. Now, this isn't enough food for everybody. Another rare problem to find in Brundisium. Also one that I can quite easily solve. As long as people are willing to help me solve it. An engineer, a prefecture, and wow, the second time. That's weird. What do I... Oh man, Discord doing some weird things with me today. Alright, get back in there. Huh. Maybe I'm just being clumsy. Okay, still though. Let's get that wheat. Fake out has been discovered. It's not much of a fake out if I've already announced what it's going to be, is it? Right, let's just farm in all that stuff. And the only requirement is people, so I could just throw down a bunch of tents and call it a day. But there's not a lot of class to that, is there? The answer is no, there is not. Are there more house rules beyond the hex-edited goals, like no magic Roman aqueducts? No, there's no point, because I love my Roman aqueducts. They are certainly magical. Alright, goodbye Mars. I'm gonna relocate you over to here, so you can bring even more niceties for these people. Alright, excellent. I think we kind of get the point here, so I could just slaughter this map. What better way to slaughter it than by placing people in places that I'm sure they really don't want to be. And doing some really unorthodox stuff. Like, I doubt many people ever have used this part of the map in Brundisium. But I'm here to break some mold. People are going to want to get up and out there. And with this, I can get my fountains over here. Oh, wow. Range is somewhat limited. The superior thing to do is to actually put the fountain here. And then that'll water almost everybody. You'll take care of the few that aren't. Now, like I said, I haven't really experimented with this, so I don't even know if it's going to work. It'd be funny if it just turned around and went, yeah, no, and didn't let me do what I want to do. Lack of desirability is going to be a problem here, so I'm going to slap down one for Ceres and bring these guys a bit more up to speed. They do not like the lack of entertainment, though, and that can be solved with a little bit of theatrics. Hell, I could actually get rid of you and thunk down a couple of buildings here. The school is certainly one of them. But these guys will still need a prefecture, so I'll slap you down there. There we go, it's almost good enough. I mean, it's not, but it almost is. Ceres is pretty happy. I imagine the rest of the gods are particularly unhappy. So thank you, Ceres. Now I'm going to place you with Venus. Alright, one last thing should do it. I'm going to throw down a bathhouse. I don't know if the water reaches there. It does. And now we should, if the bath lady makes her rounds, be able to beat this map no problem. And that's it. We've been promoted to Engineer.
You learn quickly. You now have the skills to complete a real assignment.
You're pretty good
From
at
now
being
on-
patronizing there, Caesar. So what do we feel like? Capua or Tarentum? Bit of a false choice because Capua is the only one I've got prepared
Caesar
today.
is at today's glad.
So here is Capua. We are playing, finally, on very hard mode. Didn't really mention what that does. In addition to making the startup quite a bit harder, you get less money, so we have 6,000 instead of 8,000 starting denarii. It also reduces the amount of money you get from taxes, and it also increases the invasion sizes. That's all very exciting. The reason I don't use it is because it bugs out between 200 and 300 population. Like I said, we have a way around that. We just switch down to hard until we're at 300 and keep on keeping on. Now the ratings that we require here on Capua is a middling amount of culture, 35, almost no prosperity. You can win Capua with large tents. That's how low this prosperity goal is. Peace, non-consideration since you don't get attacked in Capua. And favor, I mean, what is even favor? But the population goal is only 2,500, which means with all this fertile land here, Granted, it's not placed in an ideal location. This water gets in the way, there's more water here. You can either have your big housing here, or, as I prefer to do it, right here, because it's along the trading path. You've got great dock access here. Well, what if I were to say I'm sick of that lack of challenge, and we go over to Capua for Very Hard Marvin. It's on Very Hard mode. Right. And now we'll find that we have to do a few more things. The culture is 60, because I don't really care about culture, but the prosperity target has increased tenfold to 100. You will need patricians to win this, and you certainly cannot have tents. Peace, it's a non-issue still, even on a map like this. Increase the favour, but massively increase the population goal to 7,000. So suddenly, instead of going, yeah, I could build here or here, who cares? Now you're like, Considering that you need to have high-level housing, you have to use this land for getting your olives going. You have to trade for wine to get the patricians up and on the go as well. And now this becomes a bit more of a chokehold for getting that food out there. Feeding 7,000 people is not trivial no matter the map. So there's a lot more humming and hoeing here. So. We also don't have a ton of money to play with. 6,000 feels like a lot after we played maps that only give us like 2,000 to play with, but still a consideration. It's a consideration for another day, however. This is mostly just to show off the kind of changes that I can do to the map. There are other things that I can still do. One is to unlock and also lock buildings that are available. It's a bit difficult because I don't know where they all loop in, but I know they are there, and with a bit of trial and error I can edit them. And I can also edit, on our lovely broken map here, the amount that people are willing to trade with me. So if I wanted to make this even harder, what I would do is I would make it that Tarentum buy only 5 pottery per year instead of 25, or even don't sell pottery at all. And what I could do is have Syracusae only buy olives. Means you can't sell refined oil for big money, and you certainly can't make the easy money that is selling furniture. I can't change what they sell, but I can change how much they sell, and also how much they buy. So that would add to how interesting it is. Anyway, I have not set those up. The only maps I've edited were Brundisium and Capua. I can do more of them later. There's a lot of creative people watching this, I like to believe. So if you have good ideas for added challenges to these, if you think, oh, this certain map would be more interesting if you couldn't sell this, or could locally produce this, then yeah, that would be good to hear, and I could certainly do it. That's another thing, I just kind of brushed by it, but I can change what you farm and what raw materials you get. So I can make it that you don't get timber here, although that would make it impossible because you wouldn't be able to hit the prosperity target. Anyway, that was my introduction to what we're going to do. I'm going to do a full campaign of Caesar 3 again on this super hard mode because I love this game. I just can't get enough of it. And people have been a bit slow in submitting more maps, and I do love more maps. Seashell says we need the Caesar 3 equivalent of Bad Ideas Guy. And Barcode says, I hope the Caesar 3 continues sometime in the future. It's not a genre I enjoy playing, but it's an interesting game to watch streamed. Alright, thanks for that, but we are now going to leave the Empire. I wish it said betray the Empire or something like that. And, ooh, fatal errors. I don't like the sound of that. What I do like the sound of, though, is heading over to the